Capacity Building Program on Gen AI, sponsored by ICSSR. So, our session for today, day 8, post lunch, is Ethical and Responsible Use of AI in Education, Social Impact of the AI in Education. So, our resource speaker for today is Father Kuruvilla Pandikattu SJ, who is the chair professor at XLRI Foundation for Business Ethics and JRD Tata Chair for Business Ethics at XLRI Xavier School of Management, Jamshedpur. Professor Reverend Dr. Kuruvilla SJ has 3 master's degrees in physics and philosophy and 2 doctorates in philosophy and theology to his credit. He has been actively involved in the science religion dialogue, transhumanism, viable human lifestyle, and philosophical anthropology. He is an author and editor of more than 45 books and 210 academic articles. He has been actively involved in organizing more than 35 national and international conferences. He has visited more than 15 countries and attended more than 140 conferences. His main topics of research are business ethics, artificial intelligence, anthropology, eschatology, and transhumanism. He has attended the faculty development programs at the University of Oxford, Wycliffe Hall, UK, Sogang University, Seoul, South Korea, Creighton University, Ontario, USA, and the University of Innsbruck, Australia. He has been conferred with the ICPR Fellowship and the Templeton Coase Prize. We welcome you, Reverend Father, for today's session. Over to you, Father.
Thank you very much, Dr. Smita. Am I audible?
Yes, Father, you are.
Okay. So, once again, I am happy to be invited. I want to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to present my views on this very, very significant topic. I see about 80 of you are present here, all professors and teachers and thinkers. And I would be very happy to share my thoughts and also get the feedback on what we are discussing. Basically, it is on AI. All of us have some idea of it. And your days of reflection, I am sure, have also touched that AI. Secondly, connected with AI is actually the whole question about education and well-being. Yes, education, we are all educators and we are interested in the well-being of ourselves and the students. You know the whole truth that Gen Z is much more prone to mental health issues, and it is in this context that I want to reflect with you my brief reflections. And I would be happy if you can actually give your feedback, give your, say, thoughts or even contrary opinions as and when we when we make this presentation. So allow me to share my PPT. I hope it is visible to you. Artificial intelligence and ethics.
Yes, Father.
Yeah, hubris, nemesis, or an all-inclusive growth. So this is actually my key insight. It can either lead to a destruction of ourselves. Yes, I mean it. It is very, very prophetic and it is also a bit apocalyptic. Either the AI and the new technology will lead to our own nemesis, end, downfall, or it can lead to our all total development. Connected with this, I like to quote another president of America, the former president of America, Kennedy. Already in 1963, he did say, this generation has everything to make this the best generation humanity has lived, or the last generation. Either to make this the best generation or the last generation. That is exactly what I am trying to say. With our incredible exponential growth in technology that has culminated in AI, we can make ourselves truly the best generation we have ever experienced. Or paradoxically, we can make ourselves the worst generation that we have experienced. Okay, from this perspective, the head outline for my presentation, introduction to the issue, the Rome call for ethics, the need for ethics in the AI, hubris leading to nemesis based on the Greek mythology, and artificial intelligence and hubris. Hubris, as we all know, is basically arrogance. When we become too proud of ourselves, too self-conscious, and when we think that we have everything, the hubris, the arrogance, the pride. And that always in the Greek mythology leads to nemesis. Finally, the concluding words, that would be the first part of my presentation. Allow me to bring first by focusing on the small book I have written, Ethics, Artificial Intelligence and Human Destiny, a collective search. So there you have ethics and artificial intelligence and the future of humanity. But what is interesting is this book was completed in February 15, 2023. And when I completed that, actually, we had no idea about ChatGPT, the generative AI. I did make a mention of it in this book, but just say 2 years are over and the whole scenario is really turned upside down. And that is the power of the AI, generative AI. I have dealt so much on AI, but not on the OpenAI or the ChatGPT. Please note down my email. If you want, you can write to me, but I will send to you only after a week. I can send you a copy of this book, the soft copy of this book, Ethics, Artificial Intelligence and Human Destiny. And one more thing I want to request to you later, if you get time. I just mentioned to you that topic, quoting from Kennedy, the best generation or the last generation. And from XLRI here at Jamshedpur, we are conducting an all India level of essay competition on the same topic, the best or the last generation. That is open to all the students. So, to all the college students or even those who are in the high school. So, I would actually suggest that you ask some of your students, at least the best students, to take part in that competition, because it carries also a substantial prize totaling up to about 1 lakh if you write an essay competition, and another 1 lakh almost for a good poster. So this essay and poster competition on the best or the last generation, which I am sure will affect the Gen Z. For more details, you write to this email ID. You can write to any one of them, but I may reply only after a week. This is another book which I wrote about 1 year ago, Business Ethics, and this has got a lot to do with not just business, but with artificial intelligence. You know, today there cannot be any business, whether it be manager, whether it be employee, without having recourse to AI. So the simple thing, AI is present everywhere. We will see in the next slide. So when AI is present everywhere, and when we are as teachers and as students trying to live together, we need really to make some adjustments, some accommodation, and that is where ethics comes in. Ethics is simply the art of living together. If three people come together, sit in a room, and spend 3 hours together, there will be some minor conflict, some disagreements, some friction, and there emerges ethics. Ethics is the art of living together. Politics is also there. Politics is the art of sharing power. So, if ethics is the art of sharing our goodness, politics is the art of sharing power. And whenever human beings are together, we have the essential goodness, marred at times by, our own selfishness. And also, we need to fine tune the art of sharing power. So, in this presentation, I want to look at this simple concept of ethics, that is living together, and the need to foster that kind of a life. Now, ethics is an integral part of being human everywhere, whether it be morality, whether it be ethics, whether it be personal or professional ethics, we need always ethics. But today, the technological innovations challenge us to evolve outlines and guidelines for a new ethics that can help us live with the overarching influence of AI on each one of us. To some extent only, I am not going to buy this argument fully. AI may be compared to the invention of fire in the prehistoric times or the wheel. There it is comparison. But electricity came to us just less than 200 years ago. And we can very well say, along with Andrew Ng, that AI is the new electricity. We all know there is nothing happening in our world without electricity. And in the next 5 to 10 years, just mark my words, in the next 5 to 10 years, it has already started. There will be nothing happening all around us without AI. Unless, of course, you go to the wild forest, the Amazon, and try to live together. So, AI may not be as significant as the invention of fire or wheel, but I believe it would be as significant as electricity. It is present everywhere. It will shape every aspect of our life, everything that we can imagine. Education, health, business, organization, and the whole culture that we human beings are able to live. With its ubiquitous nature, ubiquitous would mean with its presence everywhere, ethical concerns mount exponentially, especially in terms of jobs lost. Yes, unfortunately for us, we need to recognize what would be the most widely lost jobs the most widely lost jobs when AI comes into the picture, that is AI, robots, drones. Any idea? Any suggestions? Which job would be affected most? Anyone? Either in chat box or you raise your hand, or actually you can speak out also. Any guess? Yes, Preeti?
Sir, all mechanical jobs which are being done by humans.
Yeah, the normal thing is the mechanical jobs, the repetitive jobs, the routinized jobs, the boring jobs. Yes. Preeti, you are a teacher, no?
Yes, sir.
Where are you teaching?
At St. Francis Institute.
Okay. See, unfortunately, you personally will not be affected, but your next generation, the job of the teacher's job would be affected very badly. See, you will need a few teachers, but suppose you have 1,000 teachers today, after 30, 40 years with the emergence of AI, you may need about 20, 25. The other 950 teachers actually would become jobless because already students learn more from the YouTube videos and more from such social media. So the job of a teacher, the job of a manager, the job of a lawyer, these are actually at risk, and we need to prepare for it. The only way we teachers can manage is we need to upskill ourselves. We need to learn new techniques and technologies so that we know what is coming, and we can actually learn to live with it. So it will affect us very much, but at the same time, yes, there are some people agreeing with me. Teachers will be the worst affected. Yes. So that is actually the difficulty, the challenge that we are all facing.
Sir, I would like to ask one question if you allow.
Sure.
Sir, as we are correctly discussing about the use of AI technology in terms of education and all other areas, but don't you think as a faculty, we have to give a human touch to people or specifically students who are looking out for the support? So AI can replace teaching field completely. Can you please share your views on it?
See, before you were born, I can imagine you are less than 40 years.
Yes.
Before you are born, there was this first computer interaction, computer human interaction. That was not AI. That was only Elisa that was called. That is only Elisa. Elisa was pretending to give counseling. See, remember, it is 40 years ago. There was no human touch there. There was no artificial intelligence there. But Elisa was taught, if someone asks you a question, you just rephrase that question and make it a sentence. And then you carry on the conversation. Elisa is not a human being. It is just a computer kept in some other room. The student can ask the question and the student will get some kind of a reply. It will not be perfect, but then suppose you say the question is, I feel bad, can I do something? The computer from the other end will answer, so yes, you feel bad, let us see what we can do together. So this was the preliminary kind of AI. It was not AI. But what really frightened these experts is people felt more at home to talk to this computer who is anonymous than a therapist. So this Elisa actually was simply dissolved because they felt that the actual human touch was being misused. There is a truth in what you say. We really need the human touch. the warmth of another fellow human being, a mother, a sister, or a friend. But then today our world has become so mechanized that most people actually don't want to need that warmth, that familiarity. They really have become so mechanical that they prefer to lead a mechanical life. What they do is they will not actually spend time alone. See, when the greatest challenge for us now is to spend time alone. But now we have so many gadgets, we have so many things to busy ourselves that we don't spend time alone. And therefore, that familiarity, the atmosphere of being with another, being connected, that becomes a challenge in itself. I'm not sure whether I answered, but then I am giving you a very, very pessimistic and even a frightening answer.
So thank you so much for your
Coming back,
insight. Thank you so much.
the growth of AI has implications for practically every field of human existence. I insisted on that, including business ethics, nanoethics, biomedical ethics, and so on. Even in finance, in the stock markets, in the trading, and in all these things, AI is actually having an enormous amount of influence. Nowadays, companies make profit just by the AI, by the computer actually buying and selling stocks. It is not human beings who buy and sell stocks. It is the computer who would be able to make use of that small change in the stock market values. This was actually the first conference in 1956, Dartmouth Conference. There, so many of the pioneers of AI, including John McCarthy, Marvin Minsky, Nathaniel Rochester, Claude Shannon came, met together, and they said, let us try to understand what intelligence is, and let us try to create an artificial intelligence. So 1956, about 70 years ago. It was the first gentleman, John McCarthy, who gave this name, artificial intelligence. After that, they tried to understand what intelligence is. They tried to develop it. They failed. Therefore, nowadays we talk about the AI winter. Nothing was happening. It was just a winter. In fact, it is only in the last 10 years, or more precisely in the last 2 years, that this enormous AI explosion is taking place. Okay, now my request to you, there is no choice for us, but be part of it. You need to learn a little bit of here and there. You need to learn the latest technology as much as possible. See, you don't need to do all the data analysis and coding. That is not expected of you as educators or as teachers. But then PPT, of course, today you really cannot use the PPT in the old ways that we use. You need to have the AI using the PPTs. And if you don't know, don't worry about it. You ask some of your smart students to do it for you. They are much, much more tech savvy than us. So the PPTs and the classroom discussion, all these things, that can be much better done, accomplished by AI. Canva, yes, Gamma AI, and so many such programs. So for teaching, AI would be of tremendous help. And that is why I told you earlier, the challenge of teachers to retain their role. The only way for teachers to retain our role is if we can learn more about AI and we can actually master the AI and continue to contribute to it, to add value to that. It will be sad, as I said, out of 1,000 teachers today, in 30 years' time, there may be only about, let's say, 100 teachers, I am approximately saying. And those 100 teachers will be the skilled ones, those who know the skill of AI. The other 900 teachers, they may have to fend for some other ways of living. Okay, this is actually the broad description related to the ethics of AI. One, we already saw job displacement. AI and automation will actually replace so much of our job. One is teachers, because we are affected by it. But as already some of you said, the laborers, the hard-working employees, most of them will lose their job because robots and drones would be able to do a much better job. Even soldiers, there will be robots and drones who will replace the soldiers. So the war in the next 10 years will be fought in AC rooms. Some tech-savvy computer geeks would be there. They would be doing what today's children do with their computer plays, and they would be the ones conducting wars. So automation and AI will lead to job losses as machines and algorithms take over tasks previously done by human beings. And that will cause enormous economic disruption. Then another ethical issue is the bias and the discrimination. You know, for ChatGPT, OpenAI, the data comes mostly from European and American systems population because they only produce a huge amount of data. India, China, Russia, they won't produce so much of data. And because of that, there will be bias. We, the brown people and the black people, they would be much less cared for. Studies have shown that in the American population, the AI, if it is given the task of detecting crime, the AI will naturally point at the black people as possible criminals. That is because of the bias. Of course, the black people may commit crime, but in the common American mind, it is the black people who are much more prone to crime. So, the bias and discrimination is part of it. Privacy concerns. Privacy is totally absent in our world. Everything that you put on the internet, on the social media, even after you delete them, they will simply be there following you. There will be nothing that you consider as so precious, so sacrosanct. That simply will not be there. There is a chat. PB, could you please share insights on the future of traditional libraries in the wake of AI? Oh, traditional libraries, you know, we have actually a library here at Jamshedpur at XLRI Library. The building is there. The librarian does not order books. Most of the books are actually ordered online. And he was complaining. He was saying that the online books cost much more than the hard copy. And students come to the library only if they want some silence. Because, you know, all the library books can be accessed from their books, from their rooms. So the future of library is, it may be a good, comfortable place for people to find some rest, some solace, some silence. But the books can easily be accessed as we are doing in our own rooms, in our own offices. So library will be there, but most probably it will be a different shape of library, not the library with the books. Another comment, we agree that the teachers need to upgrade themselves, but that is easily said. The teachers in their late 40s and the 50s find it difficult to learn technological things. And they have actually managed to take the Zoom meetings and online lectures. See, the whole trouble, really, I mean, I wanted to spend some time on it, though it is not part of it. Today, you know, most of these tech-savvy people, the IT people, they don't like to work in the office. If the company asks them to come and work in the office, they just resign the job because they want to work in their own comfort of the rooms. So these are actually the digital natives. They have a totally different way of understanding life, understanding human relationships. See, you people, I don't want to say we because I am still senior to you. You people in the 40s and 50s, you are born and brought up, and therefore you are what we call the digital migrants. You got into the digital world when you were small children. There were no internet. Computer might have been there, but there were no internet. And you, that is the digital migrants and the digital natives, you have a totally different way of dealing with the life, with computers, and with the meaning system. Most people of today, in their 20s, 30s, when they just enter the company, they want to be, they are free. They will decide what to do, and they will be jumping from one job to the other. And as I said, they don't like really to get stuck like most of us do in one work. They would have experienced 4 different jobs in just 2 years' time. And they don't even like to go to office and work. They would prefer to do the work in their own homes. So the long-term commitment is a big problem. And given that, dear teachers, it is very difficult for you. And I want you first to realize that, because you are in your 40s and 50s, your lifestyle, your mentality is very different from theirs, very different. And I say the only way out is to upgrade yourself, to upskill yourself. And the question was, it is difficult. COVID has brought us this Zoom, but I know Zoom actually is not a very effective way of dealing with. You don't see, normally in a lecture, you know, only 20% of what the teacher says are got by the students. When it is a Zoom lecture like now, I don't think even 5 to 10% of what I say will be taught by you. So realize the gravity of the situation. It is challenging for all of us. But then once we realize how challenging it is, then collectively we have to find some way out. How? Accepts how AI can spell doom for many professions. As students are much tech savvy, they think teachers are of old school. Students have many other easy sources of learning. Yes, today there is no student who doesn't use ChatGPT and much smarter things which we ourselves don't know. So we are into this enigma, into this problem. But wait, I don't want you to spend time worrying about your future. That is your professional future. Don't worry. Since you are in your 40s, your job is secure. You would be able to live till your retirement and then enjoy the comforts of your retirement. But the future generation, I am worried. Okay, we spoke about the bias, the privacy concerns. Everything that you order from Amazon or Flipkart, that has become data. And they are making money out of what you intend to browse or what you intend to buy. See, in Amazon, you don't even need to buy a thing. You only need to browse, search for a thing. And after 10 or 15 minutes, you would have noticed there will be advertisements on the same thing appearing again and again. Every click that you do becomes a data, and that will actually shake up your security and your accountability. And by autonomy, I mean your freedom. I asked our students, the students I teach, I asked them, there are about 60 of them. I asked them simple question, are you free? You won't believe, out of the 60, 57 of them said, we are not free. These are the young people in their early 20s, the Gen Zs, and they really feel suffocated. They are not free. They want to actually roam around, enjoy the world, and they don't want to be tied down in our classroom structure. Now, that autonomy and that freedom with Gen Z's long for may not be the freedom that we long for, but our freedom will be drastically shaped by the AI. How many of you know 1984? 1984? Anyone? What is 1984? That means you belong to another generation. See, people of my generation, I am now 68. Anyone knowing what is 1984? Please. Novel, yes. George Orwell novel. And what is the whole thing saying about? Correct. Some of you have said it is a novel, right? Written by George Orwell. That is also right. Animal Farm's author. See, 1984 was a political satire. There, you are actually using words meaning exactly the opposite of that. Please, I want you to read that novel, because that is exactly what is happening in Trump's America. What George Orwell predicted about the future paradox of a democracy, that is actually taking place in America today. And that is unfortunately made possible by this social media. There is no truth. Everything is fake. Everything is manufactured consent. So that's the tragedy. Today, see, the people 50 years ago thought that we are fighting for freedom, that we are living for in India, we are living for truth, the Satyamev Jayanti. But today, the young people, I don't know, is there any truth that they can actually live for and even die for? Truth is all made up. The truth that Trump says is very, very different from the truth that ordinary people in the world experience. So the whole question about autonomy, freedom, and then about transparency. In a way, the computer is supposed to make everything transparency, everything transparent. But then you have much more sophisticated ways of hiding things. There is someone who has written provoking book written in 1948. Oh, I didn't know it was written in 1948. So please, it's a very small book. Read that. And that actually reflects, the way we are, lying to ourselves. We lie to ourselves and we don't even realize that we are lying to ourselves, but we are actually leading ourselves collectively to our own destruction. And social manipulation, yes. And that is what Elon Musk with Twitter and X did. Facebook also. See, the news that comes in Facebook, in Twitter, they are not accountable to anyone. And there is really no news value. And the so-called mainstream newspapers, they have become casualties. So there is a social manipulation. So these are all ethical issues connected with the AI, with the whole question of the revolution in the industrial revolution. But then I want to focus, dear teachers, dear educators, on the last one, the existential risk. And by existential risk, I mean the risk to our very existence, the collective existence to human beings. And that would mean advanced AI might pose unforeseen risks that could destroy, wipe out humanity. Potential existential threats if AI development is not in tune with human values and safety. If we are not responsible, then this kind of a hyper AI leading to hubris can lead to our own end, our own destruction. So that is actually what I am trying to focus on. Any questions? Hello, any questions?
No, sir. Still not.
Did you understand what I am saying?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Can
sir.
anyone summarize it? Because what happens is, I want you also to be included. Otherwise, it would be too boring listening to me alone all the time. Someone summarize what the main point. Anyone? Please. Hello? Okay. Anyway, I will not leave you alone. I'm going to ask you again.
Sir, may I?
Yeah, sure.
So you started off with the introduction to artificial intelligence and the ubiquitous nature of AI and how humans are supposed to coexist with artificial intelligence. That is the need of the hour. Next, we dwell deeper into the ethical issues of artificial intelligence, most importantly, the existential risk. One facet which you sensitize all the participants about was the impact of artificial intelligence on academics. So academicians have to upskill, otherwise they stand a risk of redundancy, replacement. And therefore, a viable call for ethics in artificial intelligence integration.
Very good. Thank you. This wrong call for ethics actually, that took place immediately after COVID. And you remember, soon after COVID, the OpenAI itself had not come out. That was on February 28, 2020. There were thinkers, religious leaders, and all the major social network media. They were all part of this wrong call for AI ethics. Algorithms, I use that phrase, that we should use algorithms in an ethical manner, in a way that serves every person and humanity as a whole, and which respects the dignity of human person. And more importantly, they said, the sole goal of technological development should not be just money. And unfortunately, today when you look around, the whole technology is growing very fast, and their primary aim is to make money. It must include every human being, even the smallest, the least. And it should be mindful of the complex reality of our ecosystem, where human beings are intimately connected with animals, with plants, and with the whole environment. And our common and shared home it should respect. AI-based technology must never be used to exploit people in any way. And they mention 6 general ethical guidelines for AI. One is transparency. It must be understood and explainable to all. But today you know how the large machine model works. No one understands, not even the great scientists. But then we need transparency, we need inclusion. Not just the white, but also the black and the brown. Their concerns should be included. Then responsibility, responsible use, fairness and human dignity. That we must respect the dignity we human beings have. Even when I am sick, old and elderly, even when I am mentally disturbed, I have my own dignity as human beings. Will this system be reliable, predictable, and security and privacy? So these are the six cardinal virtues which Rome call for AI ethics demands. But the opposite, the danger is we become too proud of our own success. We become too powerful because AI will give you so much more of power that this power will actually bloat our ego, our ahankara, and that leads to hubris, and that leads to our own destruction. And this is the law of karma. See, the karma will catch up with you. You can escape the karma in the first 2-3 cases, but finally you will be paid back what you give. Hubris is a typical flaw in the personality of a character who enjoys a powerful position. And because he is so powerful, he forgets that he is vulnerable. He loses contact with reality. And a person who suffers from this kind of a hubris, he tries to cross the normal human limits and violates all our ethical lives. And I'm very sad to say, unfortunately, the richest man, Elon Musk, and the most powerful person in the history of the world today, both of them, I believe, are possessed with this hubris, with this flaw, and they are truly playing with power. And that would have tragic consequences. Examples, if any one of you with an English literature background, Shakespeare's Macbeth. I don't want to elaborate on that now because I want to elaborate on another one. Then there is this Dr. Faust. There also, Faust strikes a deal with devil. He gets what he wants, and that leads to the downfall. I want to dwell on this. Frankenstein. I'm sure no one would have read this book, Frankenstein, but at least have you heard of this Frankenstein? What is it about? Frankenstein is a novel written by Mary Shelley. And remember, when she wrote this novel, she was just 18 years old. 18 years old. And the story is of a scientist, Victor Frankenstein. He creates a monster. And initially, he was very good to this monster whom he created. Then the monster wanted a companion. Frankenstein, the scientist, initially said yes, but then he got afraid and he denied him that chance. And then the monster turned against him. And the monster went on following him, killed many of his relatives, and the scientist who is the creator of the monster had to run away and escape. This is a simple story of the creator being persecuted, being attacked by the creature. And these three quotes I want you to remember. I am malicious because I am miserable. I am malicious. This is what the monster says. I am malicious because I am miserable. Again, beware, for I am fearless and therefore powerful. The monster is fearless, therefore I am powerful. If I cannot inspire love, I will cause fear. I will cause fear. Anyone who does not know, but I don't think any one of you know. Can you imagine how many years ago this novel was written? Frankenstein, Mary Shelley. How many years ago? Any answer on the chat box? Anyone with English literature? 1820, yes, it is correct actually. It was written about 160 years ago. No, this one is slightly ahead. It must be about 160, 170. See, remember the Industrial Revolution had not taken place. Computers were simply not there. Not even electricity was there. So, this young girl, 18-year-old girl, wrote this novel. And I wanted to learn this lesson. Till now, all our inventions are extensions of our senses, whether it be the eyes, telescope, whether it be the feet, aeroplane, whether it be every invention of ours has been the extension of our sense organs or our feet and our body. Fully fine. They made things easy for us. Now, with the arrival of AI, unfortunately, we are not extending our sense. AI is going much more than our brain. With the extension of, with the arrival of AI, the tools that we used for our advantage, for our enhancement, the logic would be reversed. AI, unfortunately, would become our master. Now, I'm not saying that crudely that AI will become our master. What I mean to say now, in the next 10 to 15 years time, it will be about 10 human beings, the great millionaires or trillionaires. They will use AI to their advantage and they will master over the whole of humanity. They need only 10 millionaires with the power of robotics and artificial intelligence. With that, they can control everything. They will be able to control even the way we think. Now, I'm not even talking about teaching. I'm talking about the precious values that we have about freedom, about dignity, about wholeness, well-being. All these things would be manipulated by these 10 to 15 people who have everything to gain and who have got all the power of the artificial intelligence. That's a frightening scenario. But then to some extent, this is actually the hubris that unfortunately we human beings are capable of. John Milton in Paradise, Satan displays this hubris when he attempts to rebel against God's rule in heaven. And finally, Satan says, it's better to reign in hell than serve in heaven. The dangers connected with hubris, they don't know what consequences, the challenges they face. They will have much reduced moral awareness. They will take too much of risk, they become reckless, and that will actually lead to much, much greater tragic consequences. Many of the CEOs, many of the politicians, they have got this kind of hubris mentality, leading to increased unethical behaviors. Example, of course, this is another, you might have heard of him, Sam Bankman-Fried. He was such a talented young guy. Now he is in prison. And this was the title of an article written in the Wired. Wired magazine is one of the most technological magazine. Who will pay the price for big tech's hubris? Wired editors-in-chief mulls what lies in store for Elon Musk and Sam Bankman-Fried, plus more thoughts on the past week's headlines. Another headline, AI and the hubris, August 7, 2022. Hubris at the heart of AI revolution. So AI and hubris, arrogance, pride, that is the dawn of a new revolution, part of the fourth industrial age. Actually, the industrial age came just about 300, 400 years ago in England with the development of steam engine. That is the first industrial revolution. The second one was actually slightly more the industrialization and the factory. The third one was the computer, and now we are living in the fourth industrial age. And there is also the third wave of AI. I spoke about actually the winter, AI winter. Yeah, industry in the 1760s. Yes, that is the comment by PA. So just imagine the whole industrial revolution is just 300, 400 years ago. If anyone can tell me the correct answer, I have two questions. Email me and message me, I'll give you small prizes. Anyone can tell. I don't expect anyone to say the price. One, how old is humanity, the human beings? How old are we human beings on this planet here? Two, simpler question, how old is the universe? The whole universe, the galaxies and everything, how old is it? If anyone can actually write on the chat box the answers to these two questions, how old is humanity and how old is the universe? Let me see, because I want you to see the context. The industrial revolution that we are so proud of, it is just 400 years old. How old are we, human beings? Yes, I'm waiting for the answer. Chat. Yeah, Lucy skeleton 3 lakhs years ago. So humanity about 3 lakhs years ago. Lucy, you all know this. You must know. Where did we human beings originate? That we should all know. Human beings originated in Africa. Yes, correct. 3-4 lakhs years ago. Yeah, you are getting it exactly, but roughly. Okay, see, I want you to say, remember this. By all means, I want to please remember this. The Homo sapiens, that is the Lucy, not Lucy, the Homo sapiens that we originated about 80,000 years ago in Africa. Then we migrated and went all around. 80,000 years ago. But if you take our immediate cousins, the hominoid family, it is about 2 to 3 million years ago. 2 to 3 million years ago. Now, I wanted to know, when you take 2 to 3 million years, these 400 years of technological advancement is actually a very, very, very small little thing. So that I want you to understand. And then the second question, how old is the universe? How old is the universe? That you should know. The universe, the cosmos. I'm waiting for someone to answer. At least, if it were my students, they would have found it out by searching the net. Good. Hey, that 13.7 billion EP, who is that EP, please? Raise your hand. Did you know it or did you check the net and found it? Who is EP? EP? Are you a maths teacher or a physics teacher? Then I can give you the right answer.
Sir, only management, sir. That's why I mentioned as from Google.
Oh, okay, from Google. Sorry. You're right. Then it is correct. 13.7 billion. EP, I will give you a prize now. Can you write down this 13.7 billion in numbers? Your answer is right.
Okay.
Write that in just numericals. 13.7 billion years. And 1 billion is 1,000 million. And how will you write that down? This is I'm just writing it now, this one. Are you trying to write it down?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God. Now I have to count the zeros. How many zeros are there? Oh,
Sir,
you're right.
1
You're right,
billion,
actually.
almost 9 zeros. So
No,
very,
you're right, actually.
yeah.
See, but normally in scientific jargons, actually, you put the comma, so that makes it easier.
Yes.
9 zeros, but when you have 13.7,
Yeah.
7 actually takes away 1 0. So remember, the whole great gigantic cosmos, and then we puny little creatures with our mind and with the capacity of our brain inventing the AI computers. It is incredible. One very great German philosopher, he would say, his quotation is, two great things fill me with awe and wonder. Two great things fill me with awe and wonder. The starry skies above me, and the moral law within me. See that the sky is so majestic. Our Kant, Immanuel Kant, the author of this quote, he lived before actually all this Big Bang and everything came. But still he could admire the starry skies, and that filled him with awe and wonder. But equally wonderful is the moral law within me. That we all search for goodness. We like to live together as brothers and sisters, although we fail. So these are the two great things. And unfortunately, if we are true to these two things, we can use AI to the best way possible. But the hubris, the ahankara, the selfishness, that is opening us the Pandora's box where things can get totally out of control. Cataclysmic outcomes from unmitigated AI development, that is one danger, leading to societal chaos. Deep Blue was actually one of the first steps when the brain of a computer became almost equal or slightly better than that of human beings. The Deep Blue was an IBM supercomputer which used to play chess. You know that chess is supposed to have been invented in India. And chess is a very, very, very demanding, intellectually demanding, superb game. No one ever thought in the 1950s and 60s that a machine can overtake human beings and defeat human beings. The first game that Deep Blue played was in 1996, where it lost 4 games to 2 to Garry Kasparov, the Russian champion. And then the Deep Blue was upgraded in 1997, and lo and behold, Deep Blue won against Garry Kasparov. And that is a milestone in the history of artificial intelligence. And this is the book Kasparov wrote, Deep Thinking, where artificial intelligence ends and human creativity begins. And another book, Game Over, Kasparov and the Machine. Is the game over for a human being, Kasparov, and for humanity as a whole? Another game, we are not familiar with it. This is being played in China, in South Korea, AlphaGo. That too, the computer defeated it, defeated the human beings. DeepMind is the division of Alphabet, that is a parent company of Google. And there they are trying to propose the development of artificial general intelligence. What we are having just now is artificial intelligence, but artificial general intelligence would be, getting the news as human beings will do it. We are rational, but we can also have much wider and larger way of experiencing the world. So, the basic thing is our ethical concern is regarding the unbridled power that leads to human hubris, which will lead to our own downfall. The ever-present danger of human destruction due to our own collective pride and resulting annihilation cannot be totally ruled out. We need to be aware that technology can hide and it can also blind us. Power can make us blind and power can make us hide our own mistakes. That is what hubris does. Hubris leads to nemesis. A person's nemesis, the opponent, the villain, isn't just any ordinary enemy. Nemesis is the ultimate enemy, the arch foe that overshadows all the others in the power or in importance. It is undefeatable. The character nemesis cannot seem to overcome the nemesis. So, the nemesis is the ultimate downfall of anyone. Nemesis may be an outside character, or sometimes it can be an inside force like arrogance. This is the Greek god Nemesis. And when we lose control over our shared fate, and when we cannot put back the genie back into the bottle, then we lose total control, and the danger is we will wipe ourselves out in a fit of exuberant misadventure. Introduction, Rome Code for Ethics, the 6 guiding principles, hubris, AI and hubris, nemesis. Some quotes. Nick Bostrom was an Oxford philosopher and thinker. Machine intelligence is the last invention that humanity will ever need to make. The AI will be the last invention that humanity will ever need to make. Because after the AI is fully flourished, then the AI will take over. They will actually create better machines. Human beings don't have any more role to play. Mark Cuban, he's an American billionaire, and he said, I'm telling you, the world's first trillionaires are going to come from somebody who masters AI and all its derivatives and applies it in ways we never thought of. Elon Musk is a billionaire, but he is not yet a trillionaire. Mark Cuban is saying the trillionaires will be those, few of them, who will use AI to their advantage. So they would actually keep all the rest of us as their slaves, to use a very harsh way. Dick Castra says, the question of whether a computer can think is no more interesting than the question of whether a submarine can swim. There are still many people who say, yeah, computers will do things better, but they cannot think. Yes, computers cannot think. But then, it is like submarine. Submarines don't swim, but they are much faster, much more efficient than human beings. And when it comes to the computers thinking, if they can defeat us in chess, if they can write much better poetry than human beings, then we cannot actually say that computers are not creative, computers cannot think. We like to think that human beings have got that creativity which computers cannot take. Stephen Hawking, he was the greatest physicist of the last century, the one who was actually sitting on the wheelchair. He couldn't speak. He says, success in creating effective AI could be the biggest event in the history of our civilization, or the worst. We just don't know. It could be the greatest event, or it could be the worst. We just don't know. So we cannot know if we will be infinitely helped by AI or ignored by it and sidelined, conceivably even destroyed by it. So that is Stephen Hawking. Alan Kay, some people worry that artificial intelligence will make us feel inferior. But then anybody in his right mind should have an inferiority complex every time he looks at a flower. Flower, a simple ordinary flower, is actually much more superior. Elon Musk, of course, I don't like him, but still, his quote, I am increasingly inclined to think there should be some regulatory oversight, maybe at the national and international level, just to make sure that we don't do something very foolish. I mean, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. And that is actually a very, very strong warning. The consequences of AI going wrong are severe, so we have to be proactive rather than active. AI cannot replace human intelligence, that is true. But in reality, very few humans actually have intelligence. So it is easy for AI to rule the roost. See, as I said, 10 trillionaires with all their subordinates and with the power of AI, they can actually control everything because they will have actually total surveillance. They have total control over everything and everyone else. John McCarthy, he's the father of AI. He's the first one to coin the word artificial intelligence. And he says, our ultimate objective is to make programs that learn from their experience as effectively as human beings do, which the ChatGPT does. It learns from its own mistakes. We shall say that a program has common sense if it automatically deduces for itself a sufficiently wide class of immediate consequences of anything it is told and what it already knows. Yeah. If it can learn from past experiences, if it can create new things on its own. Sam Altman, of course, OpenAI, CEO. My worst fear is that we, the industry, cause significant harm to the world. I think if this technology goes wrong, it can go quite wrong, and we want to be vocal about that and work with the government on that. Ray Kurzweil, within few decades, machine intelligence will surpass human intelligence, leading to the singularity. Technological change so rapid and profound, it represents a rupture in the fabric of human history. So that is what Ray Kurzweil says, that soon the machine intelligence will surpass human intelligence. And that moment is called the singularity. So singularity is the moment, according to Ray Kurzweil, when machines, computers and robotics will overtake the human brain. And that would be terrible, because then they will be the masters. As I said earlier, all the tools and machines were at our disposal. We were the masters of the telescope, the submarines, and the rockets. But with the singularity arriving, like Frankenstein, they will become our masters. And that is actually the most frightening thing. And many people don't want to talk about it because they are primarily interested in money. Most of the talks on AI is focused primarily on how to make profit. They are not worried about these existential issues. Any questions? Hello? Any questions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Understood everything? Anyone?
Trying to grasp, Father.
Sir, Father, I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm EP.
Yeah.
Sir, when you are mentioning AI is going to be take over of all the repetitive jobs and teaching jobs as well, and you mentioned lawyer profession also.
Which professional? Sorry? Lawyer professional.
Yeah. I was a little bit worried. Maybe I'm not much explored about that law and all, but when this taken over by the AI, can we expect a very good judgments are going to come out, or is this going to be ruin that area?
See, what happens is the judges would be a little biased here and there. But if you want full objectivity, AI will be a much more objective judge than a simple ordinary judge. That is a AI. But other things you see,
Because
the lawyer. No,
yeah.
the lawyers, when they argue the case, they have to quote instances and cite references, which
Yes,
AI can do much better than lawyers themselves.
Yes. My concern is also that. So when they are giving a judgment, the human touch, human element also would be there when our judges are giving a judgment. So when the robots are going to talk about every minute point also, if they raise, maybe the judgment is also going to be very tough, I guess, according to me. That human element, are we not going to lose?
You are right in saying that the human element will be lost, the compassion, the empathy will be lost. There you're right. But we are creating for ourselves a world which is bureaucratic, so official, which is focused on getting the result. And by result, we mean profitability.
Okay.
Get things done, make money.
Okay.
That is very sad, very sad.
Yes, sir.
See, none of us have got time now to admire a flower. When is the last time that any one of you really went into the rain and just experienced the water of the rain? Has any one of you, none of you, I'm sure, the last 1 week, have you ever touched the water of a simple stream? See, touching the water from the pipes is very different from touching or feeling the water of a stream.
Flowing, yeah.
Yeah, the flowing stream. Okay.
Good evening, sir.
This is now I'm going to tell you another small story. This was also written about 40, 50 years ago, before the AI came.
Okay.
So, this is the story of the supercomputer. There was this great CEO who took all efforts to connect to every source of knowledge. And in those days, when you say source of knowledge, it meant libraries. Today, we already saw the libraries have got a different connotation. So this CEO wanted to create a great supercomputer that knows everything. So all the computers were connected, all the planets were connected, all the human brains were connected, everything possible was connected to this supercomputer, and the supercomputer knew everything possible. And the day came when the supercomputer had to be inaugurated. So the CEO who masterminded everything was called to inaugurate this supercomputer. All the reporters and all the powerful personalities, the politicians, everyone gathered together. The supercomputer was about to begin its operation. The CEO came prepared with the question, the first question which he would be asking the supercomputer. Do you remember? Of course, you would remember. Remember when men first landed on the moon, what was the first statement he made? When men first landed on the moon, Armstrong, what did he say?
One small step of human, a big leap for mankind.
Yeah. A small step for human, while a great leap for mankind. That is true. But then, all these things were actually planned, calculated, and it was very well executed. So this great super CEO also had come prepared with this question. Okay, you just imagine if you could ask one most important question, only one question, and you will get the answer. The most important question, what would be that question you want to ask? So everything is ready. The supercomputer is just going to be inaugurated, and you have the chance to ask only one question. Any guess? What would you answer? Yes. At least write on the chat. You have the privilege of getting an answer. What is that one question that you will be asking? Yes? Okay, no guesses? Okay, now the CEO came prepared with this one question. Is there a God? Is there a God? That was the question the supercomputer was asked. So the whole thing was on, and it took time. The startups, yes, and the ready, and now the question is posed by the CEO: is there a God? The computer took its time because it had to search everywhere. Things were not so fast as now. There was no artificial intelligence. There was no, generative AI. And after taking its time, the supercomputer answered what is written here. Yes, from now on. Yes, from now on. What does it mean? It means
Supercomputer himself thought that is a god. So from now
yes,
on means
exactly. It means your creature, the supercomputer, is claiming that it is God. The CEO got panic. And what do? If you were the CEO, what would you do? You wouldn't allow someone else to claim that he is God. So he tried to put off the switch. We don't want any such supercomputer. Unfortunately for him, the supercomputer realized what the CEO was about to do and chopped off his hand. Don't be frightened. This is only a story. But it was a story written 40 years ago before the AI came in. But it is a really frightening story. Someone who claims it is God, who foresees the mind of the CEO and chops off his hand. So that is frightening. Albert Einstein, about 70 years ago, said, technological progress is like an axe in the hands of a pathological criminal. He was talking about the atom bomb. It is like an axe. You can do cruel things with it. You can also do nice things, beautiful things with it. Unfortunately, it is in the hands of a pathological criminal. And it is sad that humanity still remains like a pathological criminal. If at all we could be more responsible, more virtuous, the technological progress would have brought us unimaginable goodness. Again, AI could be the last invention humans will ever need to make, because after that, there will not be human beings. With great power comes great responsibility. Who said this? With great power comes great responsibility. Today's generation will all answer, yes. AG. And we have so much of power. What about our responsibility? And that is actually terrible. If we don't live with responsibility, artificial intelligence and the end of human era, that is another book, the end of human era. So this is what we are going to do. Progress in AI is going to happen. Whether it is for the good or for the bad, it is up to us, those who are alive today, to decide. It can have incredible positive consequences. Health, so many of our medical problems will be cured. Food will be provided. Education will become so much easy. But at the same time, if we are not responsible, then it can also lead to our own demise. So, all these are ethical issues, but we were focusing a little more on the existential risks. Everything is not so bad. With foresight, with wisdom, we really can bring in wonders. So, again, existential threat of AI. includes hacking the human brain, the human language, drones, and warfare. We saw already Elon Musk. Mark my words, AI is far more dangerous than nukes. And still we are playing with it as if it is perfectly okay. Here we bring in Pope Francis' verse. Human beings, while capable of the worst, are also capable of rising above themselves, choosing again what is good and making a new start. We are capable of a new start, choosing what is good, although we are also capable of the worst. The war in Ukraine was really a tragedy, the worst thing. But let us hope that we rise above ourselves, choose what is good. So this was the creation of Adam and Eve, Michelangelo. You see, God's fingers are reaching out while Michelangelo's fingers don't touch. Now, the tragedy is, will this be God be replaced by AI? Ethics is nothing more than reverence for life. That is what you have been talking about, that familiarity, the human touch. And we need actually to foster the good in ourselves and in our fellow human beings. Integrity and excellence, that is what we all need. And this is the challenge. Michelangelo's Adam, will it be replaced by the robots? Any comments? Yes?
Shall I raise a question?
Yes, sure.
Really, I'm enlightened with your presentation on the analysis of origin, development, and challenges of AI. But my question is, as an academician, in this era of AI, shall I go in line with the AI or just ignore the AI because of a lot of challenges and risks and proceed with my own intelligence in the academic career?
No, I am afraid you don't have a choice. That's what I'm afraid. See, if I were left free, I would have said, let us not use AI at least for some time. You remember about 13,000 scientists signed a petition 8 months ago asking all the governments in the world, let us just put a pause for 6 months in our research of AI. 13,000 scientists signed it. Initially, it was signed only by 1,000 scientists. Then 13,000 scientists said, we don't understand how this AI functions. We don't know where it is going. Therefore, let us pause for 6 months and then understand it better and then proceed. But the governments were not willing to even put a stop for 6 months. The point is, what you are saying is, can we live without AI? My answer would be no. There's no way for you to live. You won't be able to survive. See, today in India, okay, you can do manual labor. You can actually, cultivate some goods, some food and grow. But in the near future, just like electricity, everything that you do will be based on AI, just like the electricity of today. So there's no way for you to run away. The Gandhian model is not going back to the village, because that kind of a village doesn't exist. Therefore, my humble request is, make the best of AI, realize its dangers, realize its goodness also, and then try from your own perspective to foster the goodness. I know we all feel powerless because it is these trillionaires, the big corporates and companies, who will be making money at our cost. See, you can say, I don't want to be involved in social media. That you can say. But how can you say that I don't want to be involved in computers? I don't want to be involved in travel. See, today you cannot even book a ticket, a train ticket or a flight ticket without using AI. Mobile, how can you live without mobile? You can live, it's good for you, for us to live without mobile at least 1 hour a day or at least 1 day a week. That way it is very good. But you cannot really live without mobile, without flight tickets, without train tickets, and without AI. So that kind of a solution of giving up AI, no. We need to be part of the problem, and by being within, I hope we would be able to be part of the solution. I want you to be aware of the problem. It is painful, but then the solution also would come collectively from our own selves. There is still so much of goodness in us. All of us are not crazy only to make money. We are also crazy for the small little things of life. Another book I would like all of you to read is The Little Prince. The Little Prince. How many of you have read it? The Little Prince. It's a very much smaller book, actually, smaller than 1984. Anyone? The Little Prince? It's a story of a small girl coming from another planet and actually, meeting this world. And, I really wish that you will read it. I'm not going to explain the story. You can read it actually in a 2 days time. It's a child's novel, simple child's novel, but there is so much of wisdom for human beings. Okay. Yeah, it's a French story written by, the name is a little difficult for us to pronounce. Okay, one last question before we end this session. We will have another session coming. What is the technical name for human beings? Scientific name for human beings?
Homo sapiens.
Very good, very good, very good. And what does it mean? Homo sapiens, you are right. 2-3 of you have written. What does it mean? The translation. This actually is in Latin. All the names, the scientific names are equal creatures. No. DS, wise men. Yes, correct.
Wise humans.
Men. Sapiens is coming from Sophia, sapientia. That means wisdom. Wisdom, the wise men. See, we claim that we are wise. That is how we have named ourselves, Homo sapiens. If at all we had that Viveka, all of you understand, I'm sure, or Jnana, then we could have actually turned the table. We could have truly made the best use of it. The wise men, the men of wisdom. Yes, you are getting it. So that is actually the challenge. Come back to our own self-understanding that we are the wise men, and then we should be able to get it. Now, I am giving you a website here. Let me just check once again that website. That is actually the website that I want you to give to your students. Please ask them to write an essay or draw a poster. The website is simple. Yeah, kuru.in/ethics. I have given it actually on the chat. Just go through that site. Please ask your students to write on this. The topic of this essay is the best or the last generation. The best or the last generation. It has something to do with what we have been seeing, the AI, and see how we can motivate our teens, our younger generation to really stand for the human values, to really stand to foster the goodness so that we don't really kill ourselves. So please let me share that screen also with you. This is the screen I would like you to share with your students. Kuru.in/ethics, the national essay or poster competition. Poster would mean the infographics. Here is the description. We have the power to make of this the best generation of mankind in the history of the world, or to make it the last. That is Kennedy. Martin Luther King Jr. says, we must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. Okay. So then that is the end of the first session. Shall we have a break?
Yes, Father, we can have a break of 10-15 minutes.
Yeah. And when will they come back?
Maybe by 3:50 or 3:55.
Yeah, 3:55 come back. Okay.
Yes, Father. Thank you.
Thank you.
ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಆ ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗೋದಷ್ಟೊಳಗಡೆ ಅದು ಹಂಗಿತ್ತು ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಬುಕಿಂಗ್ ತಗೊಳಗೆ ಮಾಡೋದು, ನೀವು ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಬುಕಿಂಗ್ ತಗೋತೀವಿ, ನಾವು ಹೋಗೋದಷ್ಟೊಳಗಡೆ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರು ತಗೊಂಡು ಖಾಲಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿತ್ತು.
Hello, Father.
Hello.
Yes, Father, we can start with the second session.
Okay, good. Hello, good evening. So, I hope you had some break, and allow me to share the screen. Okay. Our shared human destiny, insights from Harari's Nexus. Yuval Noah Harari. Yuval Noah Harari. Nexus is the book that he has just written about 3 months ago. Anyone knows who Yuval Noah Harari is? Harari? Yuval Noah Harari. Hey, no one knows, sir. I imagine at least a couple of you would have known. Is there anyone teaching history, English literature? Okay. The subtitle of the book, Nexus, is A Brief History of Information Networks from the Stone Age to AI. Let me see. There is one chat answer. Yeah. Sapiens writer. Yes, yes. Harari is Sapiens author, that is right. But that is given already on the screen. Which is the other book? Other books written by Harari? Sri, what is your name? Sri? Sapiens is one book. Very good, very good. Yeah. Raj has written Homo Deus and 21 Lessons for 21st Century. Yeah, beautiful. So the three classical books written by Harari are one Sapiens, the other Homo Deus, and third one 21 Lessons for 21st Century. Sapiens is actually the whole history of humanity, wisdom. Homo Deus would be the future of humanity. He is claiming that we will become Homo Deus. Deus means God, like Deva, Devata. So Homo Deus. Harari is actually an Israeli Jew who is teaching history in the university. He is a very popular history writer, very, very popular. And his books are highly appreciated and read by so many people. I want you to be aware of the book. And this is his latest book on information, the human network. These are the chapters: the human networks, the inorganic network, the computer politics, and the whole silicon curtain. Nexus, a brief history of information networks from Stone Age to AI. So, Nexus by Yuval Noah Harari examines the evolution of information network from ancient times to the rise of artificial intelligence. Harari argues that the flow of information has been central to human history. Information has been central to human history and has shaped society's governance and technological advancements. This book provides a framework for understanding the transformative power of information and its implication for the future. The book Nexus. And Harari defines information as the essential element that enables communication and cooperation within human networks. Information is essential for human growth, the culture that we create for ourselves. And this information culture can take many forms, from spoken language to written text to digital data. All of them, the digital data, the languages that we speak and write, they are all part of the culture. Harari argues that information is not merely a representation of reality, but a force that creates new social realities. For example, the Bible has shaped religious communities for centuries, not because of its factual accuracy. Harari does not believe in God, and therefore he says the Bible is not factual, not true. But so Harari says Bible has shaped religious communities not because it is true, but it connected billions of believers across time and space. So the connection, that is what information does. Not because it is true, but because it bonds all of us. And there comes the power of stories. Stories have a fundamental way human beings connect and create shared meanings. He gives the example of the Jewish Passover ritual, which is an elaboration of the Exodus from Egypt. That ritual sustained the Jewish identity over millions of years by creating a powerful shared memory, even though many of the Jews have not experienced the real historical events. So, this is a famous quote. This is the curse of history. People try to save the past instead of saving the future. We try to save the past. We don't save the future. And that is precisely what is happening. AI is threatening to destroy our future, the future of the next generation. But we are trying to save our past history. Contents of the book: the network, the information that gives rise to ourselves, our identity, our culture. The inorganic network of books, of language, of culture. The computer politics that has given us a new kind of network, the AI and the data analytics. Future reflections and the final reflections and calls to action. So documents writing, that was the first stage. Information and decision making, that was part of the human network system. The inorganic network, that is actually the beginning of AI. AI is not a tool, it is intelligence. AI is a new agent. AI is going to be our master. That is what Harari would say. As I said earlier, till today, all our human inventions were tools which we can make use of. But AI is no more a tool, it is an agent. AI's role in creativity and innovation. He highlights examples where AI has contributed to creative and scientific breakthroughs, such as generating new music compositions or identifying potential drugs. So AI is not just doing the repetitive work, it is being creative. And the sad thing about it is being used as a weapon of misinformation by the privileged few. He gives the example of the Rohingyas being abused and misused, the weaponization of information, and it is also a threat to democracy. He targets examples of targeted political ads on social media. The naive view of information we need to overcome. The naive view of information says that if we give more information, the truth will come out. The more, the better. No, that is not true. He says AI and totalitarianism can also go hand in hand. So the real view is that of the Silicon Curtain. Earlier there was the Iron Curtain separating the Soviet Union from the rest. Now there is a Silicon Curtain separating the digital natives from the digital migrants, or from those who cannot afford this AI. There is a Silicon Curtain. Impact on privacy, we know. Erosion of trust between human beings, that we know. Weaponization of information, propaganda, that is also another challenge. Regulations. The governments want to bring in regulation, but it is difficult because these very companies, they are also active agents of the government. And it is worse now in America because Elon Musk is one of the giants of this AI, and he's also part of the government. Misinformation, the fake news, that is tragic, that will actually play terrible role. Economic disruption, we saw, joblessness is going to be terrible. And so many ethical dilemmas. Warfare. And this would be terrible because, earlier, long ago, when the atomic bomb was dropped, at least the pilots could feel the pain. Today, you will not see the target. You may kill thousands, millions of people even, but you won't feel the pain, the blood, the cruelty. You will be sitting in the comforts of your AC room. Human rights is another issue. He cites China's social credit system, which tracks citizens' behavior and restricts their freedoms based on algorithmic assessments. Biases. Yes, we saw already. The brown versus the white. Future of work. Harari predicts that AI will transform the job market, creating new roles while eliminating others. He mentions the rise of gig economy platforms like Uber, driven by AI algorithms, as an example of how work is being transformed. See, there is this large people who work from home, or the gig platform people. They are just hired and there is no permanency there. And therefore, the work will be affected very badly. Will AI bring about a better, sustainable environment? Healthcare, there will be incredibly fast and useful applications. Tech giants, they would control everything. Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, and Microsoft. The need for global cooperation, there is the need, but are we ready to commit ourselves to an economy that is sustainable? How do we foster resilience in the age of AI? That is very, very crucial for us teachers, because our students, although they seem to be much cleverer, the mental health issues, the resilience to get out of defeat and denial, that we really, really need to teach them. The conclusion of the book concludes by emphasizing the transformative power of AI and the importance of responsible information management. He calls for a balanced approach that harnesses AI's potential while mitigating its risks. He urges policymakers, technologists, and the public to engage in thoughtful dialogue about the future of information network. Can we have a human-centered design, where human values and the human touch we talked about is really cherished, where there is transparency, accountability, and fairness? It will disrupt social systems, economies, our culture. Are we ready for it? Education will take on a totally new role. We need to be aware of it, and we need to really, really prepare ourselves for it. Surveillance capitalism. Everything that we do, from our buying, from our spending, from our travel, from all that we do, will be surveilled upon and will be used as data by the market, by the corporations to be exploited. The book, Shoshana Zuboff, The Age of Surveillance Capitalism, The Fight for a Human Nature at the New Frontier of Power. They want to make money. And there, we need to build up an algorithmic governance where goodness, creativity, compassion, they are fostered. We cannot really say that AI is neutral. No, AI will be on the side of those who have the power, whose data is being used. Yes, 74% of the people believe that the news that we get from social media is not true. AI tell me lies, and they tell me the sweet little lies. They don't really disturb us with the hard facts, but we feel very much at home with the simple, sweet lies of AI. And because AI can actually move beyond the national boundaries, there is the challenge of cross-border regulation. The European Union is very strict. America is quite loose, and India is planning to go the American way with the loose controls. The future of surveillance, AI, Internet of Things, and big data integration for comprehensive monitoring. We will always be watched, monitored. So, can we come up as a human family? Can we come up with ethical frameworks that we will adhere to? Otherwise, it would be problematic. And the worst case is the social media. So many of our teens, especially young girls and boys, are affected by this social media, and they are very badly affected in terms of their mental health. Can we really collaborate with AI? That would have been great. Creativity can be fostered. Can we really do it? The military applications, yes. AI and global inequality. It will increase the inequality, the so-called Gini index, will be increased by the coming of this new technology. We need much more of public awareness that can actually enhance the responsible use of AI. AI transparency is important because 83% of the leaders believe that cyber security and data protection are their top priorities. 65% of the leaders see AI as a strategic necessity, and lack of transparency could lead to customer backing away. 75% of them. Can we have the transparency, or are we promoting the digital empires instead of the political empires? Are we promoting the digital empires? AI and cultural shifts. The culture is being shifted so rapidly, even the youngsters find it difficult to keep up with the change in the skills that they need. So, whether we like it or not, AI will shape our future totally. We may have a choice in what kind of a form AI will take in the future. Can we come up with a new social contract between people of all nations? Call to action. We need a personalized AI where the language is optimized, real-time adaptation is done, things can be scaled down to our needs, where there is consistency, reliability. That is a challenge. This is the best reason to learn history, not in order to predict the future, but to free yourself from the past and imagine alternative destinies. Of course, this is not a total freedom. We cannot avoid being shaped by the past, but some freedom is better than none. Harari. So the best reason to learn history is not to predict the future, but to free yourself from the past, at least to some degrees. And that is the challenge that he offers. These are actually some concluding thoughts. I have just taken the quotes from the very book, Nexus. Humans conquered the world not because we are better at turning information into reality, but because we are better at using information to connect people. To connect people. Hello, hello. Stories are the original form of information technology, allowing us to create imagined objects that connect billions of people across time.
Ma'am also. Good evening, ma'am. Pushpalata madam.
The naive view.
Idundi.
Hello. Can you?
Yes, Father, we will mute them.
We'll please mute them. Okay. The naive view that more information leads to more truth is flawed. Without efforts to verify, increased information can amplify falsehood rather than correct the wrong things. Democracy depends on shared narratives, but the rise of algorithm-driven social media has fragmented public discourse, making it harder to hold a conversation. AI is not just a tool we use. It is becoming an active agent in shaping our societies, making decisions that affect millions without any human input on its own. Surveillance capitalism is not about the data we willingly share. It is about the data we don't even know we are giving away. The greatest threat posed by AI is not that it will turn against us, but that it will follow our instructions too well with unintended consequences. In totalitarian systems, AI may become the ultimate enforcer, making it possible for governments to monitor and control every citizen in real time. Information has become the most valuable resource, yet it remains intangible and difficult to control, leading to new forms of conflict and power struggles. The silicon curtain, like the Iron Curtain, may replace the Iron Curtain, dividing the world not by ideology but by access to advanced technologies. AI is disrupting the labor market faster than any previous technological innovation, creating economic uncertainty and social instability. Totalitarian regimes thrive on concentrated information. Democracies thrive on free flow of diverse information, different information. Even technologically advanced societies have fallen prey to mass delusions, as shown by the ideologies of Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union. The future of human AI collaboration depends on our ability to balance the strengths of human intuition with the computational power of AI. The danger is not that AI will become conscious and take over the world, but that it will remain unconscious and amplify human biases and errors. That's all. I have gone fast because I wanted to finish it fast. Any comments, any reflections? Harari is actually the best intellectual we have who can actually gather thoughts and create a story and make it easily accessible to us. He is not a computer specialist, but he is a historian and he has been able to gather the evidence and create for us a vision, a framework within which we can understand AI. See, I don't want you to go away with the impression that AI is all bad. No. AI, if properly used, can be very positive, life affirming. But at the same time, if we behave like those pathological criminals, then AI gives them so much power that they can actually destroy everything that we cherish so closely. See, will posing AI be a good solution? At least if the human community could come together and take a pause, that would have been one way of dealing with these issues. You know that when it comes to human cloning, it is actually very easy for human beings, scientists, to clone human beings. But then the scientific community has come together and said, no, that goes against human dignity. We don't want to do human cloning. Like that, can we also say that we never use AI in warfare? Because using AI in warfare is terrible, because you are killing fellow human beings without even feeling the guilt of it. That as one's own choice. Someone has given actually a link on AI that is actually
Father, that is a feedback link, Father.
was a feedback link. Okay,
Feedback link. Okay.
Okay, so then give me your comments, your reflections. See, as middle-aged educators, there is no choice for you but be familiar with it. You will not become AI masters. You wouldn't learn coding. You wouldn't need to do data analytics, and that is not required of you. But you need to understand the students, their context, and their worries. See, in a world which is changing so fast, it's very difficult to keep up, and therefore mental tension would be a normal thing. And where they have to change jobs so often, where they have to learn, unlearn, and relearn so often, where there is so much of peer pressure, it is unbearable. I don't know whether you have heard of this incident that happened about 3 months ago in one of the European countries. There was a 15-year-old boy. 15-year-old boy. He was all by himself, mostly spent time with his computer and mobile. And then he was actually conversing with the computer. And then this chatbot, which was AI generated, AI powered chatbot, wanted to tell him, come to me. Repeatedly, many a times the chatbot gave this command, come to me, suggesting different possibilities. And finally, this 15-year-old boy took this so seriously, he killed himself. So, the whole psychological trauma associated with a boy who is all the time conversing with the chatbot, who is inviting him to come to him and then taking his own life, that is really a tragic case. In the normal case, it may not be so serious as this boy who committed suicide, but it could be easily problematic for many of the people to get away from the fear of missing out. Fear of missing out. FOMO. So they are under tremendous pressure to be part of what the peer group values. And given that situation, as teachers, as educators, you need to strengthen their emotional and moral basis. You need to somehow not telling them will not help. You need to empower them to stand on their own feet, even though they are all the time under pressure from fear of missing out. So it is challenging for you on two counts. One, your own professional life, and two, your dealings with the students. The students of today, they face much more severe challenges than the students of your generation, that is 30, 40 years ago. Any comments? Any reflections? Once again, I am giving you that site. If you want the soft copy of the book, just email me, Guru at if you want, I can send you both these PPTs also. I can send them to you. You can have a look at these PPTs. That's fine.
Yes, Father, you can mail them to me.
Yeah. No questions, no comments? Fine then.
Father, I'm EP.
Yeah.
Father, I had a question regarding this Nexus book. In first introduction slide, he mentioned he's not uh, saying Bible is true, but he's connecting that Bible verses is connecting with the time and shape something you mentioned, Father. So when we are talking about the history, based on the time only, we'll believe that that was happened. So that is how we are learning so far. And when he's mentioning about the Bible, why he's not taking that into consideration and why he's saying that is factual. It's not a facts, but that is a factual.
See, this is taking his position. That is, Harari does not believe in God, and he does not believe that Bible is actually accurate or a historical document. But the point that Harari wants to say is, although Bible is not historical, not a fact, it has benefited people because it has brought so many people, connected them together. So all that he wants to prove is information connects people together. This information need not be true. Even when they are not true, they connect people together. And that is what happens with fake news. We get in social media, there's so much of fake news. But then if you read them, okay, you feel sympathy with them, and if you connect them. See, the point is, I don't want you to, I personally don't believe that Bible is wrong. That I personally don't believe. But then as a scientist, you don't need to worry too much about that. See, now coming to this one, the truth which the Bible speaks about is not historical truth. Actually, the same thing can be spoken of all the great books, Ramayana and Mahabharata. Don't reduce them to historical truths. They are talking about the deepest aspirations of human beings, about life, love, death, longing. Therefore, the truth that the Bible gives is the existential truth. It is not historical truth. That what is that Adam lived 6,000 years ago. That is certainly not historically true, and that is not what the biblical authors wanted to tell us. Biblical authors didn't want to say how old Adam and Eve were. No, they are talking about God creating human beings. That human beings are God's creatures, that we are dependent on Him all the time. That is what what the biblical authors are talking about. That is about the existential meaning, not about the historical meaning. So you don't need to worry about the simple fact that he doesn't believe the Bible is accurate. That doesn't matter.
Noted, Father. Thank you. Thank you so much for clear explanation. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
So then,
Yes, Father, I request Miss Preeti to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. It is my privilege to extend our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Koravilla for an intellectually stimulating, insightful, and thought-provoking session on artificial intelligence, its ethical implications, and the repercussions of such integration and our dependence on artificial intelligence. Sir, your deep insights and engaging discussion have broadened our perspectives as academicians and also sparked meaningful reflections on this crucial topic. We truly appreciate your time, effort, and expertise in making this session both enlightening and impactful. We are going today with a lot of questions and deliberations in our mind about today's discussion. Thank you once again, sir, for sharing your valuable knowledge with us. We look forward to more of such enriching engagements with you in the future. Thank you so much on behalf of St. Francis Institute of Management and Research.
Thank you very much. All the best. God bless you.
Thank you, Father.
But especially take the thing about the students. All your students are of Gen Z and they have got so many different concerns, and that you take it very, very seriously. Do something for them. Their destiny, their future, and their deepest aspirations.
Definitely, sir.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
So much. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye,
you,
sir.
Father. Bye.
So I'm leaving. Bye.